Good morning, everybody. How are you on this Friday morning? Looks like we're going to have some rain. I sure hope not. My son can't work when it rains. But anyway, he went in this morning. I don't know how long he'll be there. Guys, I want to talk to you this morning about discouragement. You know, I know a lot of us combat discouragement in our life, periodically. But how do you handle that discouragement? I know, I got something in my throat. I know there's many days when the enemy will remind me of all the reasons that I have to be discouraged. And just like you, I have many of them. But at my level of maturity in my life and where I'm at in my walk with Christ, I'm pretty good at rising above those situations and finding my joy in Him. There are those times, however, when I'm not able to rise above, when I'm not able to just quite pull it together as quickly as I should. I try. But the enemy will come against you and he'll tell you lies like you're not good enough or you're not mature enough in your faith to overcome this, or he'll bring people against me. And, I have to tell you, if you're on my Facebook page, then I'm sure you saw the technological screw up that I made last week. Or was it the first of this week? It was the first of this week. And it really, the screw up didn't get me. The discouragement started to get me, but it was a person that caused my discouragement more than anything. But what I did was I accidentally created a group message. And guys, as I do, when you get those things, they are very annoying because every time, let's say there's 20 people in the group, every time someone responds, your phone goes bing, bing, bing. And it literally sounds like sometimes it's blowing up. I know, because I get them all the time. At first it was very aggravating because I would see where so-and-so left the conversation. And I didn't know how to do that. But finally, if it becomes annoying enough, you'll take steps to figure it out. And I did. So I figured it out. And I know now how to leave a group conversation. What I couldn't figure out with what I did was how to delete the thing altogether. And people were coming back and the more it was going off. I have no idea how many people was in this group. And again, I didn't mean to do it. I was doing something on behalf of a club that had asked me to try to host an event for them. And so I was trying to do it. And I am not computer savvy, I can tell you. But this one person got so ugly with me. I mean, they were using exclamation mark to drill in that they were angry. But that wasn't what got me. Guys, when you are placed, this is my personal opinion, when you see somebody who's in a position of leadership, be it at work, be it at the church, be it anywhere, but in life they have a position of leadership, you sort of look up to that person. And you automatically take some things for granted. Like I took for granted that this person, because they hold a leadership position in the church that they attend, that they had a certain sense of maturity in their walk. And there's the Bible says to whom much is given, much is required. So as you climb that ladder of faith, that ladder of maturity, just like when you climb a ladder at work, the higher the position goes, the more responsible you are personally for how you behave in public, and whether you're causing by your behavior or your words or your actions a brother to stumble. Now guys, it doesn't mean you're perfect, because we all stumble. We all fall. None of us are perfect. But when you are placed in a position of leadership to the point where this person holds group Bible studies in their home, and they are in a place of maturity in their walk with Christ, or so I thought. But this person was coming against me uglier than anybody, and not once, not twice, but 3 times. Well, then it didn't become about me anymore. I was concerned what other people were thinking that knew this individual, because they were not showing Christ-like love. They were not living up to whom much is given, much is required. This person has been promoted within their church. This person has a responsibility to a certain extent, not to be perfect, because again, none of us are perfect. But you're held at a higher level of accountability because people are watching you. The Christian police are out there, man, and nobody wants to point fingers at anyone more than they want to point them at Christians and point out, well, look at that person. So I was heartbroken at this point, not at what they were saying at me, but I was sort of disappointed because they failed. And not in a way, I need a Kleenex, not in a way that was unforgivable by any means. But again, they're in a position, and so I looked up to this person. I am trying to become a leader in certain areas of my life. So I have to pray continuously. Every morning I pray for God to help me to be more like Him. And as I go throughout my day, help me not to display anger and because my job, it's very easy to become discouraged and to get mad and to forget that people are watching me and that I'm a representative of Christ. And so, I'll give you an example. One day I was out with my husband at an event for breakfast, and the lady serving the breakfast said to me, I know you're that video lady. And at first I was clueless. I had no idea what she was talking about. And then I looked at her with that deer in the headlight look, and she said, on the computer, I listen to your videos. This lady is not on my Facebook page, but she knew by my face that I was a Christian, that I did these videos. And it just drilled home to me more that people are watching you to see what you're doing. And guys, Christians come underneath enough fire as it is. So just be very careful. We all fall, we all stumble, we all make mistakes. Hey, I had a meltdown 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago at my sister's house. And I mean, it was a serious meltdown. It was hormonal, completely hormonal. And how can I say that? Well, gosh, I had been on a Daniel fast, and I had dropped 15 pounds, and I got sick. And so I had put my body through a hormonal change because I was not doing sugar, bread, meat, but I was at a good point. I was feeling really good. I was changing my lifestyle, and then I got sick, and they threw me on high doses of prednisone. They threw me on antibiotics. It threw my body out of whack. And then when I stopped taking, I was just all over the place. But I knew it. I knew something was wrong with me because I was weepy. My son would look at me wrong and I'd cry. One day I broke down in the kitchen and he hugged me. He said, Mom, what's wrong? And as I was crying, and I don't mean just tears. I'm boo-hooing and sobbing. And I said, Christopher, I don't know. It's my hormones. There's nothing wrong. I have nothing to complain about. I am blessed. Well, I went to my sister's house last week and something happened. And guys, I got to tell you, I had a meltdown and it was not pretty. I had not been that ugly for many, many years. And I was shocked that I even had that capability. And the more she tried to reason with me and the more she tried to talk to me, the worse I cried and the uglier I became. I literally wanted to scratch somebody's eyes out. Later, as we were discussing this, she said on a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 9. And the only thing that would have made it a 10 was had somebody walked in and I'd scratched their eyes out. Guys, we all are susceptible to things like that. I just praise God and I thank Him that it happened in a secure and safe environment. And I think the reason it did, because a week leading up to this meltdown, I prayed every day. God, I know my hormones are all over the place. Something is going on within me. Please protect me, Lord. Please help me to overcome this. And I think He did. I think He honored my prayer. So when it finally reached the highest point, I was in a safe environment and I didn't do any damage. But it goes to show that we do have those capabilities. But I think the first thing to overcoming them is acknowledging them and giving them to Him. Immediately after, I felt good, I felt relief, and I have not felt a hormonal thing since then. It was out of my control. But I knew it was happening, and I gave it over to God every single day until I overcame it. So guys, everyone is susceptible to being discouraged in life. We're going to have people come against us. But this morning, the person that I thought about when I was thinking about discouragement was King David. As a lad, he had a lot of discouragement come over. He was browbeaten by his older brothers, and he was always told that, sort of that he wasn't good enough, and he was kind of the runt of the match. And, he was hunted down as he got older. He became a friend of King Saul's, and King Saul turned on him. King Saul actually hunted him down to kill him, and he was best friends with Jonathan, King Saul's son. But, he always gave it over to God, and then there was Goliath. He beat Goliath. Because he gave his discouragement over to God. He had faith. He relied on God's strength to work in and through him. He became one of the greatest kings. You couldn't get any more mature in your walk than King David was. But even at the top of his game, he fell again. He had an affair with a married man's wife, and she got pregnant, and he arranged to have her husband murdered. And the Bible defines him as a king, a man after God's own heart. Oh my gosh. I pray that someday people look at me like that and say, that's a woman after God's own heart. But it doesn't make us susceptible to failure, to discouragement. It's how we handle the discouragement that matters. It's what we do with it. Life became good again for David. He rose above it. And then he got kicked down again. He lost his son, his child. He mourned, he grieved, but then he gave it over to God. He picked himself up and he continued on. Guys, I don't know about you, but if I didn't have that hope and that faith, I couldn't get back up. I'm sorry. I need God's strength every day to overcome. So I'm asking you today, what is it in your life that discourages you? What is it that you're going through today? No matter what it is, give it over to God. Allow His strength to be your leaning post. Guys, He'll carry you through no matter what it is. He loves you. But one thing is certain. If you don't have that faith, if you don't have that hope, life will beat you up. And you will find the day it comes that you don't have the strength to get back up. I found myself like that many, many years ago. I didn't give my life to the Lord till I was 42 years of age. And then it wasn't an overnight, instant thing. I've grown step by step. I get knocked down, I get back up. But it's not through my strength. It's not because I overcome. It's because of my faith in God. And every time He brings me through one struggle, it gives me the strength to face the next one. Because every battle we go through is harder and bigger. The giants get bigger as we go on in life. Guys, give it over to God today. Allow Him to lift you out of that state of discouragement and to give you hope. Guys, I love you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.